everyone. This is Blossom Kids Corner, or the Storybook Lady as I like to call myself. We are finally live on Instagram, and we're here today to do a book review on The Lion King. We all know about The Lion King. We have all watched The Lion King. We have all read about The Lion King. But has anybody really thought about what we have learned from The Lion King? We watched it as children. We watched it as adults. Our children are still watching The Lion Guard now. But what have we learned from it? And that's what I'm here to tell us today. I'm not going to talk about the whole story because we know the story, but I'm going to pick all the characters independently, and I'm going to pick out all the points that we stand to learn from each character that made up the Lion King. We have Mufasa, we have Simba, we have Scar, we have Zazu, we have Rafiki, we have Timon, we have Pumbaa, we have the hyenas. They all played both good and bad roles in the success of that program. So everybody listen, hold your pens and your papers, open up your ears and listen, and let's head on to the review. So now today we're going to talk about Mufasa. Mufasa was the most important character in the Lion King story. He was the king of the Pride Lands, and the name of his palace was called Pride Rock, which was a very spectacular place. It was a place that actually stood out in the entire Pride Lands. And guess what? Mufasa is actually Swahili for king. Yes, Mufasa means king. So if you have a child and you feel you want to name your child after the Lion King, yes, you can call your child Mufasa. It means king. As a king, Mufasa was kind-hearted. He was playful. He loved his subjects. He was a very nice person to his subjects. If you remember, when Rafiki presented Simba to the circle of life, when all the animals gathered, it was because the king's reign was a very good one. Because he was a good king, that was why even as least as the ants, the crickets, the earthworms, they all came out just to welcome the newborn prince. Now that is an attitude that we all need to learn. How do you treat people around you? How do you relate with those around you? Will people say, oh, this man or this woman, she's proud, she's arrogant, she's boastful? Is that what people have to say about you? Why don't you take a cue from Mufasa and learn to be kind-hearted, learn to be playful? I don't say you should be extremely playful, but once in a while, throw a joke here and there. Trust me, a smile a day keeps the drugs away. Mufasa was also respectful. He respected every animal in their different categories. Remember when the elephants invited him for a burial? He went with his wife. He left the Pride Lands and went to their own end just to attend that burial. That was because he respected the elephants, and he also respected other animals. He wasn't a bad king. Mufasa was also affectionate, especially to his family. He was very protective of his family. He loved his wife and his cubs. He loved everyone around him, and everyone always had something good or something nice to say about King Mufasa. What do people have to say about you? People that live with you, people that live around you, what would they say about you? Would they say my oga is a nice person, or my madam is a nice person? Or they will say, no, don't bother about that woman. That woman is a terrible person. Learn from King Mufasa. We can learn from any of the animals. It really doesn't matter. Mufasa was also intuitive. He used his intuition a lot as a king. He was wise. He knew how to settle issues. He knew how to solve issues when they came up. Now that's a leadership quality that we need to learn. We need to know how to use our intuition, how to use our mind's eye, how to use our third eye. When an issue comes up to you, when your children bring issues to you, or when your colleagues or your staff or your counterparts bring an issue to you, how do you tackle those issues? Are you favoritic, or do you practice favoritism? Mufasa's reign was prosperous because he was a wise man, because he was a wise king. He knew how to organize the animals in such a way that everybody knew when it was their turn to visit the watering hole. Everybody knew when it was their turn to visit the grazelands. And there was prosperity. The grass were green. There was always water. They never had need for water. But when Scar took over, if we remember that video very well, when Scar took over the Pride Lands, everywhere was dark, everywhere was drab, everywhere was dull, everywhere was dim. There was so much sadness. So many of the animals were not even eager to come out whenever there was any issue. Mufasa was also a courageous king. He had the courage of a lion. Remember, naturally the lion is the king of the jungle. Now Mufasa exuded that quality of the king of the jungle, and he did not just do it not because of the story or the movie The Lion King, but he also had that personal quality. The personal qualities of the lion, the leadership qualities of the lion came up in him. He was courageous, he was brave, he was ready to fight for his family. And that was why Scar took advantage of his bravery, because Scar knew that no matter what happens, he will always stand up for his family. He will always come through for his family. As a parent, how do you represent your family? How do you fight for your family? When your in-laws are saying bad things about your family, how do you stand in for them? Do you stand on one side, or are you on the fence? When things come up, how do you represent your family, especially in public? What do people have to say about you? Would they say, no, this man is going to take a bullet for his wife, or this man is going to take a bullet for his children? How do you represent your family when the time comes, or when push comes to shove? He was also patient. Remember, because of his courage and his bravery, that was why Scar was able to get him, and unfortunately that led to his death. But even in death, Mufasa was still a brave man. Even in death, Mufasa still had the leadership qualities. He still waited for Simba. Remember, after Mufasa died, Simba felt he was the one that killed his father, and Simba was so guilty, and Scar was able to make him run away from the Pride Lands, and he became a fugitive. And because Mufasa knew that eventually the truth was going to prevail, justice was going to come through, Mufasa waited. He was patient enough. He waited for Simba to learn how to be a king the hard way. He had to learn how to be a king. He had to learn how to stay on his own. Mufasa was optimistic. He looked on the bright side. He knew that eventually Simba will come through, because he knew what he had deposited in him. Parents, what have you deposited in your children? Can you proudly beat your chest and say, I know my child. I know what I can produce. I know that my child can produce, my child will deliver when the time comes. Or are you a chicken-hearted parent? Sorry, that was a call that was coming in. So like I was saying, as a parent, what have you deposited in the life of your child? Now, a downside of Mufasa, we can't keep saying he was good, he was brave and all of that. There must always be a downside. Of course, there must always be ups and downs. Now, the downside of Mufasa was that he was a poor judge of character. And maybe that was born out of his love and affection He came out to stand up for his son, and eventually led to his death because he believed in his son. So that's it about Mufasa. We still have other characters to talk about. We have Simba. Simba was the son, the heir apparent to the Pride Lands. Now, the reason why Scar killed Mufasa was because of Simba. Summary. Because Scar knew that after Mufasa's death, he was the next in line to the throne. And then unfortunately for him, Simba came along. So he hated his brother because his brother now had a son who automatically was going to become the king. There was a part of the story where Scar called Simba a ball of hair. And Mufasa told him, that ball of hair you're talking about is my son and will one day become your king. Those were the things that made Scar vow that he was going to take Mufasa out. Now let's talk about Simba. Do you know that Simba is the Swahili name for lion? Yes, Simba means lion. Now, that is the Lion King. Mufasa is king, Simba is lion. So Simba is the Swahili name for lion is Simba. Now let's discuss Simba as a cub, because we started his story from when he was a cub. Okay guys, that's it for our video now. Lots of calls are coming in and they're interrupting us. Stay tuned to this page. Tomorrow at this time we're going to continue with the story of Simba. Don't log off, oh. Let me not look for you, oh. Everybody, as many as we are here, remember to come online tomorrow at 4:30. We're going to continue with the story of Simba. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.